Hello and welcome to Urban Arts Magazine. Super excited to be here to talk about an amazing and thought-provoking, a very timely project, hashtag Voiced, here at the University of Texas at Dallas. I have the cast with me. Good morning. How are you all?
Good morning.
So hashtag Voiced. Also, automatically, I think relevant. I think current topic. But then, like looking at the description, and I can just give this to you, Janelle. So tell us a little bit about the play and what makes it so special.
What makes it special is that they're the voices of high school students. It's very important, I think, for us to listen to what's actually happening. Sometimes high school can be its own world, or really any school can be its own world. And as adults, we have this kind of habit of not realizing that it's got its own kind of ecosystem. And so what makes this important and I think like really touching for a lot of people this age is that you get to hear their voices and how outside seeps into the inside world of high school, and then what that looks like as they're kind of trying to find themselves and their identity within the outside world inside this small space.
I love that. I love that. So the play takes place on the campus of a private school. And then there is a shooting that happens at a nearby school. So how does that shooting affect what happens at that private school? Okay, sure.
There have been 29 mass shootings in the 3 weeks since 2023 opened.
Wow.
Or began. And I think that although it might be already done in other films or media, this one is just as important. And the focus is not really on how the shooting happened, but really the people and how they deal with it, the kids, the characters. And I think that makes it so unique because it's something that, we hear about every day, but this time they do something about it. We always hear it, we always go, oh, okay, that's very sad, but they speak up, which I think is really great.
That's awesome. So to your point, so many times we hear about the shooter. We hear about what happened. We never hear about how it affects the neighborhood or the community around them. So I love that we're talking about community there. In dealing with this topic of grief, dealing with death, what steps, and I'll ask to give this to the director maybe, what steps have we taken to really make this story authentic and really craft the narrative?
Well, I think, first of all, Janelle has really presented us with real world concerns through the multimedia that we see throughout the play. So we get to see how the students are reacting to news reports of shootings. Also, the concerns with fentanyl and how that is affecting students in school, and what they're now learning more about their own school, and some of we have a character who takes polls, who is the extension of the journalism team. This is Avery, our school reporter, who gives these reports periodically throughout the play, which we see. And Avery presents these polls, and a little tongue-in-cheek occasionally throughout the show to kind of help balance the seriousness of the material, and with a little bit of humor from his polls. But there's a very serious poll that is, I think, Janelle, you derived these percentages of students who responded with having sexual aggression in their schools. This is high school we're talking about. Having suicidal thoughts, a fear of shootings in the school, just having this voice that extends beyond what we see in the classroom, in the journalism, and in their private lives. We get to also see the outside effects of the school as a whole. So I think, I'm hoping this is answering your question. The students, we get to see them engage with one another, and then also see how the outside world in their school, in their high school, is also affecting them, and how it's affecting the student body as a whole.
Right. You both are freshmen here on the campus. So like high school was last year. You're coming like directly out of this. How was it to tell this story coming like with high school so fresh in your rear view?
That was a huge advantage getting into a character like this, because my character is very similar to how I was. Grayson, he's a very overachieving scholar, like myself. And so by being able to play a character that I had, I had similar experiences with, it's really been a pleasure. And it's been a lot of fun working with the cast. And I'm really proud of how we're really developing this narrative.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So with this shootings that happened, and with I heard that there is a news team, and you guys are the news team
Yes.
for the school.
Yes.
And there is a question of morality of should I say something or should I not? How do you deal or what is the thought process when you're determining, I'm going to give this authentic character. I'm going to dig in and really be able to tell this story. When weighing with those heavy concepts, is there like any activities, any warm ups, any music that you listened to before? Is there any inspiration, motivational quotes that maybe you have?
Yeah. My high school yearbook quote was, "If not me, who? If not now, when?"
That's the title of this episode.
Emma Watson. Yeah.
That's the title. Yeah.
It was Emma Watson speaking at the UN, and I'm very much also, I feel like we're all like our characters, where Hannah is this sort of firecracker, like she strives for and like all gas no brakes towards what she wants, and I think that's really admirable. So with my character, I don't really think that there is a process of, what should I say, because it's like, this is all valid, this all needs to be heard, I'm just gonna say it. But I'm pretty sure your character has a different point of view.
It's a very different point of view. For me, I know people's voices need to be heard, but there's also the conflict between, okay, if I do speak up, it could lead to me losing all the things that I've gotten. I've gotten a scholarship, pre-acceptance to college. My parents want me to have everything in the world. They want me to be successful, and they don't want me to ruin that opportunity by being a part of a protest or saying what needs to be heard. So it's really hard because there's two sides, and I'm like, I have to decide between, should I do what I feel is right and speak up, or should I stay silent and listen to my parents and just stay in my books and make it through high school.
And I think so many people face that same question mark of like, do I shake the table and and raise my hand and say this isn't right, or do I cower down and like just go with the status quo and move forward? I love that this conversation is happening. So when people come to see #voice, what do you want them to walk away with?
I'm leaving to you guys. I'm intrigued. What do you want them to?
I want them to feel, encouraged, that everyone goes through these things, that this is real, that people every single day go through this thing in high school, even in college or in day-to-day life. It doesn't even have to be in school. And that we all can support each other. When we go through things, we can all stand up for each other. And I just think it's a really important message that I hope that everyone gets to hear when they see this play.
Like to share?
Yes, and this play is unique because it lets you in onto those, if I could walk in their shoes, and this time you're literally seeing them putting it on, tying their laces, etc. And it kind of really increases the perspective that you have. You get to see a point of view that you might not even have considered beforehand, or even known was a circumstance. And it really, I feel like if you were to come see this and then leave, I wish that you would think about empathy and the power of perspective.
That's awesome.
I would really like the audience to leave with a sense of unity, because we all see ourselves divided. We all like to stand for different things, but really what we want the audience to take away is that we all want to be better. And so if we can all just stand together and really try to combat these issues that are detrimental to all of us. I feel like that would be great.
Awesome. You want to share?
Yeah, I'm actually sitting here so incredibly impressed. We have other cast members who couldn't make it today, but such big, bold voices. They're still really much in the middle of this process, and hearing your perspectives. I really look at this from the audience's perspective. As a director, I want to be able to convey this story with its authenticity, make it engaging. And so when the audience leaves this space, I'm hoping that there's a deeper understanding of how our youth are experiencing their high school years. I imagine, our target audience obviously is going to be young, but I'm hoping that we're going to draw in a more mature audience so that when they leave, they realize their high school years have nothing in common with what our youth are experiencing today. And I think because their voices are not truly heard, maybe occasionally we get some really powerful voices in the media, but in general, their voices are really not heard. And this play gives them that voice, and hoping that that message resonates in a more mature audience so that they can walk away and perhaps be a part of the change that needs to happen.
For sure. Janelle?
One of the things I wanted to do with the show is kind of bridge the gap between the older generation and this generation. And a lot of the times you'll hear older generations talk about how they don't know, these young kids don't know. And the reality is they don't know, right? Because they haven't had their life on social media, right? Like I am very lucky that I was of the generation, right? That like we knew social media was coming, but it wasn't quite here yet. And for not only that, the access that they have to trauma, they have way more access. Before you had to pick up a newspaper, right. You actually had to go look for it. Right. But this generation doesn't have that. The new generations don't have that. They have those things in the palm of their hand. Right. And so what I'm hoping that this will do is kind of bridge the gap between that, to say that, like, yes, there is much to learn from older generations, but older generations have no idea what's being discussed at this level. And not only do they not have an idea, because they have so much more access to other people, I think their empathy level is higher, and they have a better understanding of how to deal with some of the things that our generation, we've kind of lived pretty separate existences. And like, even on this campus, we're a very multi-ethnic, multiracial campus. And so that's not an experience I had in my undergrad, to see that many people who don't look like me. So they have a different level of empathy that can be learned from our generation.
And that's one thing I've always loved about the University of Texas at Dallas is the diversity that's on this campus, and they really strive to do that. So I love that. Let's talk a little bit about the process. So Janelle, so the process for this play, can you talk to us about how that came about, and what made you have the motivation to write this?
Yeah, it was an assignment, as I was just telling them. As most things happen when you're a student, everything has to start as an assignment because you don't have time for anything else. Excuse me, but it started as an assignment. I wanted to write a play, and social justice is something that's very important to me, that I try to be tapped into and be aware of. And so I knew that that's what I wanted it to be, but I didn't know exactly how that would take place. And then I started thinking, no, I definitely know I want it to come from the younger generation. And I had a friend, Amanda K. Washington, shout out to you, who is a theater teacher, and she invited me to come to her class and just sit and talk and listen. And a lot of what you see and voiced comes from that theater class, the experiences that they had in their school in just 2019, and some of the things that were happening on a daily basis that they had to ignore in order to get their education, or they had to just kind of shove down. And so what I wanted to do is bring that up and kind of put that on the table and make adults deal with it. Because some of the things that they were saying in the room was that we've talked to adults, but nobody did anything. And if they did something, they didn't come back and tell us what had happened. And so that is also part of what made them stay quiet. And so I wanted to create a show that allowed them to no longer stay quiet.
That's awesome. And you're a PhD student, right?
Yes. Yes.
And what are you getting your PhD in?
Literature.
Literature.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So so I want to get to know you and your background. Can you tell us your name? Tell us where you're from, and then what you're studying here.
Yes, my name is Anthony Hembry. I am from the Dallas area, and I'm studying business administration.
Awesome. And your business administration, and you're doing theater. I love it.
I am passionate about doing theater.
I love that.
I'm Melina Rusu. I was born in Romania, and then I moved to Houston when I was 6. And I am also studying literature, hoping to get my PhD as well.
Yay!
That's amazing. And again, not a theater major. That's awesome.
I'm Sheridan Matisse. I was born in Dallas, Texas, lived in Pittsburgh, Texas a little bit, and I am majoring in visual and performing arts theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. We have a theater major on the table. That's awesome. And are you a professor?
I teach here, but
Teacher,
I
okay.
am as well a PhD
Oh,
student.
awesome.
So
Awesome.
I'm returning to school to get my PhD in
Nice.
visual and performing arts. My focus is on drag kings and female masculinity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an amazing topic.
Yeah.
I love the diversity also at this table
Yeah.
and just like background and knowledge, and really like looking at it. Just to spin back to the play, I was thinking the newsroom, and like so many times we see slanted media. And like how media can control the narrative as well, and just to have the balance of media controlling the narrative, and should I say something or should I not? Like meshing all of that. Like I'm excited about the play. I'm super excited about the play. I love all of the elements coming together. So if you could give me one word, and when you think about this play, what's that one word? Sum it up all up in just that one word. Who wants to go first?
Censorship.
Ooh, okay. Anybody else?
I would say pride.
Anybody can jump in.
I was gonna say powerful.
Powerful.
Honestly, you stole my word.
I know, I was gonna say empowerment.
Yeah.
Empowerment,
various forms of power.
that works. So it's all strong words that are there. So tell us, how do we get tickets? When does it open? How long does it run? Who can give me all that great marketing information?
So we open on February 16th. We run the 17th and 18th, which is through Saturday, then the following weekend, and we close that following weekend Saturday. Performance times are 7:30, and tickets can be purchased online through our box office at the UT Dallas. And for students, it's free admission and 15 otherwise.
Is this any student?
Well,
I think it's UTD students,
Okay,
but I
yeah.
think
okay.
but other students do get a discount.
yes, they do.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
I have to clarify that
Yes,
too.
yes.
I heard it was free.
Yeah.
Awesome. So hey, make sure you come and check out #Voiced here at the University of Texas at Dallas, in the theater building. That's where we are.
Yes.
In the theater building on the campus, parking lot G. I earned that. And make sure that you support great art going on in the city, in the country, in the world. This has been Giles with Urban Arts Magazine. We'll see you next time. Thanks.